believers, and we accept God and we accept Jesus into our lives and into our hearts, what ends up happening is that we think that now that we know Jesus, now that we have accepted God into our hearts, now that we are a born again Christian, we've been baptized and all of that, now we think that the work is done, that nothing will happen. We think that when it comes to, you know, problems and trials and circumstances, that everything is just going to disappear. We won't have to face any problems. We won't have to face any hardships or any hard times. We think that solutions and things we want, things we ask for, that they will just come. And that when we want something to happen, that it will happen immediately. And we don't expect that we have to put in any work. We expect that these things will happen automatically, that in spite of, how do I put this? We think that when we know God, that God will take care of everything, and we no longer have to put in any work. We don't have to read our Bibles anymore. We don't have to pray continuously. We don't have to go to church. We don't have to attend Bible studies. We don't have to read up and study up on our word. We expect that things will just happen automatically. And that, let me just be clear, that is not faith. If anything, that in a way it can be considered faith, but it is considered in a way faith without work, meaning that you believe that, oh, God's going to do it for me. Nothing is going to happen to me. No harm is going to come against me because God is going to do it for me. But what are you doing? What exactly are you doing? It goes back. Faith without work is dead. And so I mentioned earlier that I attended a Bible study this week, other than, of course, Omega Church Bible Study. I joined a group, a club, if you would, at school that is called Crew. And what that group does, we do weekly Bible studies on a Friday. And so, I've just recently joined the group, and I said, all right, I'm going to step out of my comfort zone, because for me, I've never been the type to do something, to join a club, to join a group or an organization at school or even outside of school. It's never been me to step out and, join something and be vocal and be social. That has never been me, because I've always been, a reserved kind of person. I'm not good at the social scenes. I've never been good at the social scenes. And I took this chance. I said, you know what? I want to be more active. I want to be more involved with people my age and, with my age group and with the youth population. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to step out of my comfort zone. I'm going to join this group. And I did. I joined this group, and I really liked what I heard. I loved the message. I loved what they were, what the club was going to be about. And I said, you know what, this is something I'm interested in. I signed up immediately on the spot. As soon as I got that link, I signed up on the spot. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is this. Sometimes, we gotta do things outside of our comfort zone in order for God to reveal certain things to us. You see, I have been praying and asking God to send me the right friends. Because right now, I don't want to say I'm friendless, but I lack a lot in that department. I don't have many friends, and the few that I do have, we don't communicate often. And so I asked God continuously. I said, God, send the right people, send me the right friends, that I will have the right people to connect with, and sure enough, God did. He placed that. I was on my school social media for their student life program, and I was on there, and I saw that they were doing Club Rush. So they call it Club Rush, which is where you would see all the different clubs and groups at the school. And if you're interested in joining, you can get information on how to do that. So I said, you know what, I'm going to go. So it was on Zoom. So I joined, and it caught my attention, So I signed up immediately, and I stepped out of my comfort zone. And as I'm in this Zoom call, so we did a breakout room. So if whichever, group you were interested in, you would go to that breakout room to talk to the leader of that group to get more information about it. And to, if you wanted to join, get the information on how to join. I surely did step out of my comfort zone and join that breakout room. I introduced myself. I asked questions, and I opened up. I really just stepped completely out of my normal box, completely out of it. I completely stepped out of that box, and I did something that I normally wouldn't do. And I was talking to the girl and the leader, and she was, explaining about what the group is, topics that we would discuss, Bible studies and community events and different things that we would be doing. And I really liked what I was hearing. It was just so, the word isn't coming to me right now, but it was a great feeling to really hear all the different things that they were doing. I was like, you know what, this is something I want to be a part of. And somehow, some way, remember I said I've been praying and asking God to send me the right friends. The girl asked, she said, it was me and another person who were in the breakout room. And she asked us, she said, not to, be rude or disrespectful or anything, but do you guys have friends? And I said, God, is this you? As she asked the question, I said, God, is this you? Like, tell me, is this you right now? And I answered and I said, in all honesty, no, I don't have many friends. And she said, okay, well, I don't have any either. And I was like, okay, God, what are you doing? And so I'm just, I'm going with the flow. I'm following the conversation. I'm communicating back with her. And then she said, we can exchange numbers and maybe me and you can become friends. Even if you don't choose to join the club or not, we can still be friends. And I was like, you know what? I said, God, is this you? And I said, you know what? Let me stop asking, God, is this you? I said, I realized this is God. Because I've been praying and I've been asking God to send me the right people who will believe what I believe, who will, that we can walk the same walk, that we can help each other, that we can balance each other out. And as if any of you have tuned into this program before, you would have known that a while ago I spoke on a topic. I did a series about friendships and friends and the right friends and what God's intent was for friends. And a main part about why God created the concept of having friends and having friendships is so that you will balance each other out. So that when one is going the opposite direction of where they should go, you will lead them back so that you will be there for each other. You can read all about that in the Bible. It talks about the importance of, friendships. It may not say friendships, but it's there. And I was praying to God and saying, God, send me the right people who will be good, decent friends for me, And I kept asking God for this, and sure enough, he did. And so now I have a new friend, and I'm grateful, forever grateful, eternally grateful, because we have a lot in common. And we have a lot in common. And not only do we have a lot in common, but it's exactly what I have been looking for, the type of friendship that I have been looking for. I've been looking for somebody that I can talk scriptures with, somebody that I can talk God with, somebody that I can pray with, that we can, if I needed to pray with somebody, I can call them up on the phone and say, can we just pray? Or if I needed to talk, if I needed to, get something off my chest, I could just call them and do that. And we can, talk about it. We can pray about it. We can, this is what I was looking for. This was I was asking God for. And the message from this, and so I joined this club, I met this girl, and I'm so grateful. And I thank God for it immediately. And I told my dad, I told my mom, I told my siblings, and I was like, I made a new friend, and they were all happy for me because everybody knows, especially my family more than most, I am not a social person. I've never been social. I've always been the shy, reserved type. And so this was huge for me. Maybe it's not huge for somebody else, but this was huge for me because I am never the type to step out of my comfort zone. And talking with her, it really opened my eyes to a lot of things. And so I joined the Bible study. She sent me the link for it, and I joined the Bible study, and I met some other people who were in the organization as well. And in this Bible study, we talked about faith, and it really opened my eyes a lot to certain things. Not to say that I have not seen these things before, but I wasn't allowing myself to see these things before, if that makes sense. Now, talking about faith without work, I have faith in God, and I know that God is going to provide, all my needs. He will supply all my needs for me. I know that, and I have a lot of faith in that. I believe in God that he will work things out for me. But we often think that having faith is enough. When it comes to faith, you have to also put in the work. And so an example that was used in this Bible study, I'll read the verse also, but an example that was used in the Bible study was that Let's say you see, a homeless person, you're walking or driving or whatever the case may be, and you see a homeless person and you pull over or you stop walking and you talk to them and you minister to them, you share scripture verses with them, you pray with them, and you say, I know that God is going to supply all your needs. He's going to get you everything that you need. All you have to do is trust him. All you have to do is believe in him, have faith. And we have this conversation with this person, right? But then we walk away. And now maybe we had $2 to spare that we could have given to that person so that maybe they could have gotten themselves something to eat where they haven't been able to eat in weeks. Maybe we had it where we could have, drove them to a shelter so they would have somewhere to sleep for the night. We have means to help people and we don't do it. Now we can have faith. And have faith on somebody else's behalf where we're saying, I know God is going to do this for you. I know that God is going to provide solutions for you. I know that God is going to work things out for you. But let me put it like this. Without putting in any work, without an action. See, faith is an action concept. It is not just a word. It is not just a flat word. It is an action concept. You have to put in some form of work, whether that be when you're ministering to somebody and saying, I know that God is going to provide you with all that you need so that you can get a house. I know that God is going to provide you with all that you need to get a job. I know that God is going to provide you with all that you need to pass your exam. And you're ministering to somebody and you're praying for them and you're saying, you know what, I'll pray for you. We're doing all of these things, but what are we doing? That we have certain means available to us that we can help them. For example, if you work in the corporate world and you know that there is a restaurant or a boutique or a store of some form that is hiring, and you're talking to somebody who needs a job, and you know somebody who works at the local Publix who can help get this person a job, and you don't offer that contact, you don't make that connection, you're speaking something, but you're not acting on it. So faith comes with two parts. It comes with believing, but also with acting. You have to do the action. You can't expect to just speak something and it will happen. Although the Bible does say the power of life and death lies in your tongue. That connects with faith, and faith connects with action. You have to put in the work. If you don't put in the work, you can't expect to see the benefits of what you are praying and seeking God for. Now, going back to what I was saying, my story about how I was praying and asking God to send the right friends into my life. If I did not act, if I did not step out of my comfort zone and attend this club rush, if I didn't step out of my comfort zone and speak and, be engaging in this breakout room, in this conversation with the leader of this group, if I didn't step out of my comfort zone and open my mouth and speak, if I didn't step out of my comfort zone and just attend this meeting, I would have never met this person, and God would have never been able to answer my prayers if I did not put in that work. See, God places opportunities in front of us, but we often ignore it. He places these solutions in front of us, but we often disregard it. Why? Because it's easier to say something than to do something. It is easy to say, I believe that God is going to provide a way for me. I believe that God is going to provide and send the right friends in my life. I believe that God is going to do this, and I believe that God is going to do that. It is easy, beyond easy, to say these things. But when it comes to action, where you actually have to put in the work so that God will do for you what you are asking him to do, it's like you waver, you falter, because you can't comprehend in your mind that, oh, God Almighty, I'm praying to him and he can't do this without me doing anything. We think sometimes that we are bigger than God, and we are not. We are way beneath God, way beneath him. We are not bigger than him, and we will never be bigger than him because God created us. We didn't create him. God created us. And we have to remember that. And we have to never forget that. Because once we forget that, we think that we are bigger than God. And we think, oh, I prayed and I asked God to get me a job, so that's it. I put it in his hands. That's not it. That's not the solution. That's not the solution. That's not the answer to your prayers. That's not the answer to what you are asking for. When it comes to God and when it comes to faith, Speaking it and believing it is one thing, but putting in the work to ensure that it happens is another. It is two parts to the same concept: believing and acting. The action has to come after the belief. You can't have the belief without the action, and the action without the belief. You can put in all the work, because on the same hand where you believe something but you put in no work, it's also on the flip side where you put in the work. You're saying, you know what? Okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And as I sow my good deeds and I do good deeds for other people, and I help out and I do what I can, I know God's going to do this for me. You're putting in all these actions, but you don't actually believe that what you're doing is benefiting you. If you don't have faith, if you don't believe in it, believing is one half of faith. If you don't believe in what you are asking for, if you don't believe in your actions, then God cannot work for you. He cannot do what you are asking him to do because you have false belief. You have false faith. And so when it comes to faith, and we're talking about faith without work is dead. If you do not put in any work, if you don't do some kind of action to ensure that God sees that you have a lot of faith. And the thing about faith is, and this is why the concept of faith, it really intrigues me. It really mind blows me day after day, night after night. Why? Because in the Bible, if we would read the book, if we would open it and read it from cover to cover, we would see there's a verse in there that talks about how we only need faith as small as a mustard seed. And if you have never seen a mustard seed, I encourage you not to Google it, but to go to your local grocery store and to look at a jar of mustard seeds. And look at how small one single mustard seed is. Think about how small it is. If you've seen one, then think about how small a mustard seed is. It is so small that you probably wouldn't even be able to see it when you're holding it at a distance. If you're 10 feet from somebody, you wouldn't see that they're holding a mustard seed in their hand. That's how small it is, just to give you some context. And the Bible tells us that we only need faith the size of a mustard seed. It doesn't say faith the size of many mustard seeds. It says faith the size of a singular mustard seed. And that's so powerful to me because a lot of times we think we need to have huge faith. We need to have, boatload full of faith, and we don't need that. We only need a small inch, a small gap of faith, just a small piece, in order for God to work on our behalf. And not only do we just need that small piece of faith, because remember, faith is two parts. It's believing and acting. So all we need is to believe just a little bit and act just a little bit in order for God to work. Simple actions, simple things that you do. And believe in your mind. These things will reach the eyes and ears of God, and it will allow him to move for you. But you have to take that first step and have faith, just the size of a mustard seed. It's important that when we hear that concept, faith without work is dead, it is true, because faith is two parts: believing and putting in that work. To put it, for a translation, putting in that work. Getting up and doing something, being proactive. If you are seeking a job and you need a job, you can't just say, God, Lord Heavenly Father, I'm coming to you today and I'm praying that you will provide a job for me. God, I need some money. My bills are due. The loan I took out on this car is due. Child support is due. This and that is due. Everything is due. My tuition is due. I had a field trip coming up and I need money so I can go to this field trip. You pray and you ask God for a job. You ask him to give you a job. But then you sit back and you don't complete your resume. You sit back and you don't submit your resume to these different companies. You sit back and you don't go online or go out from door to door, business to business, and seek a job. You don't put in any work. It's like saying, I want to lose weight. I want to lose weight, but you don't get up and do anything to lose weight. You don't change your eating habits. You don't change your walking habits. You don't do anything to change that situation. You want to lose weight, but you're not getting up and you're not doing anything. You're not changing your eating habits. You're still eating food late in the night. You're still sitting down every day, lounging around on the couch, lounging around in bed, rather than getting up and walking for at least an hour. You're not putting in any work. All it takes is a simple action in order for God to answer our prayers. All it takes is faith the size of a mustard seed for God to answer our prayers. I highly encourage you that as I am getting ready to close off today, that go to your local grocery store and look at a mustard seed. Look at how small it is. Look at how small it is. And remember that faith is two parts, belief and action. And now when you're seeking God for something, keep that in mind. Keep those two things in mind. Faith is belief in action, and all you need is faith the size of a mustard seed. Keep that in mind and begin to do what God is intended for us to do. So before I close out, before I go any further with this, I do want to acknowledge those of you who are on Facebook and those of you who are on YouTube. Thank you for tuning in today. I do want to say good afternoon to all of you. And I do see we have a couple comments here. It says, may I add, too many times we misunderstand the difference between hope and faith. We must build on our hope to strengthen our faith. Yes, that's true. Hope and faith are two very different things. They're two very different things. You can have hope that something will happen, and that's fine. But faith is believing that it will happen. Hope is thinking in your mind, maybe it will happen, or not maybe, but hope is saying that I want it to happen, but I'm not sure, but I'm hoping, I'm praying, I'm seeking, I want it to happen. Faith is saying, I know it will happen, and I'm going to do this to ensure that it does happen. Hope and faith are two very different things, and we often confuse the two and merge the two as if they are the same thing, and they're not. Those are two very different things, and that's a very good point. Thank you for bringing that up, Brother Paul. Very good point. Hope and faith are two very different things. But as I am closing off for today's segment, I want to leave you with this. I'm telling you that God will prove to you. He will prove himself to you time and time again, and he doesn't have to, but he does. If we would just have faith, just the size of a mustard seed, I'm telling you, go and look at a mustard seed. Go and see what it looks like. And for those of you who attend Omega Church, we have little jars of mustard seeds in the back so that you can see it. And all you need is faith the size of a mustard seed in order for God to move mountains and rearrange things in your life. He's not asking for a mountain full of faith. He's asking for faith the size of a mustard seed. So I want to encourage you today that whatever it is that you are seeking God for, whatever it is that you are looking to him and asking him for, remember that when it comes to faith, you can believe it, but you also have to act on it. So I want to leave you with this. Act on it. Belief is just the first part, but act on it. And if you have been acting on it, believe in it. Believe that it will happen. Now, what you are seeking God for, you are going to get it. Have strong faith. And remember that faith without work is dead. Faith without work is dead. So if you don't put in the work, you won't see the benefits. If you don't have belief, you won't see what God is doing for you. So I want to say thank you so much to all of you who are tuned in today. Please tune in next week, Saturday at the same time of 4 p.m. to hear the Youth Truth Show again right here on Omega Radio, WOIB 101.9 FM. I do appreciate all of you for tuning in, and I do hope that you all received today's topic. I'm going to go ahead and close off with a song here, but I want to say thank you so much for tuning in to Youth Truth today. Before I close off, I want to leave you with this. Remember, Omega Church, we have service tomorrow morning at 11 a.m., and we are breaking bread with Holy Communion. So please come on out and join us. All right. Don't miss out on this. Come on out and join us at Omega Church as we are rededicating our lives back to Jesus through use of Holy Communion. So thank you so much for tuning in today. Until next time. Bye-bye.
Listen while you still can hear the Master's call. The Master's call.